This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
You are listening to Frankly Speaking Panthers on TobaccoRoadSportsRadio.com. Ladies and gentlemen, the other day I'm looking around and I'm saying, I need to become part of a Carolina Panthers group that stays positive even in these tough times. And I'll tell you what, boy, have I found a group, the Carolina Panthers Den. It's on Facebook and you need to join today. This is a group that stays positive, has a good time, and interacts with a lot of other different Carolina Panthers fans. If you want to have a great time and talk about your team, encourage your team in a way that is done very professionally, then become a member of the Carolina Panthers Den on Facebook. Make sure to join today. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Frankly Speaking Panthers. I'm your host, Larry Frank, and boy, oh boy, it's, 3 games left in the season. That's it. I know some of you are going, thank goodness there's only 3 games left in the season, but that's what it is. 2 versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 1 versus, of course, the New Orleans Saints. This Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, Bank of America Stadium, the last home game. That's right, the last home game of the season. So I want to remind you all of that. It is versus the Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are coming to town. Now, for all of you watching on many, many different platforms, I want to welcome you all to Frankly Speaking Panthers. I want to welcome Northeast Streaming Sports. Frankly Speaking Sports on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify. Crue Life is with us today out of Tampa Bay, one of the most prominent Tampa Bay Buccaneers group out there in the nation. So for those of you Buccaneer fans looking for a Buccaneer group to join, Crue Life, C-R-U-E Life. I know they'll appreciate that. And I want to thank everybody. Tonight will be our last show until the new year, which is on January 3rd. We will be on with our new episodes for the year. Want to thank everyone in advance for the great year, second year that we had. Right now, Frankly Speaking Sports, for those of you that have been watching us through the beginning, we are now reaching over 750,000 people. Think of that. What started in an Arkansas little section of a bedroom has gotten this big, 750,000 people. And as of January 3rd, we are now announcing we will be on Roku TV. So we will have an opportunity to reach, listen to this, folks, another 56.4 million people who are currently have monthly active accounts with Roku. So we are looking so forward to that. That's January 3rd. We will give you continue to give you updates on when that channel is going to get going. But we want to talk some Carolina Panthers. We are about 15 minutes away from having Coach Marvin Bell. He does his own show, Bucs Talk, with Coach Bell. He will be joining us in about 15 minutes to help preview the Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers. But as we get started today, folks, I want to start out with something. Obviously, everybody knows Tampa Bay is 10-4, just lost to the New Orleans Saints by a score of 9-0. First time in a zillion years Tom Brady has been shut out. But, you know, we'll talk about the injuries in a couple of moments that's going on with Tampa Bay. But I want to start off with Matt Rhule on decision-making and accountability. And it came down today, and I finally got to the point where, you know, water can boil so much before it boils over. It continues to boil and boil and boil, and then it overflows. Well, that's how I'm like today with Matt Rhule, okay? Because one of the things that worried me at the beginning of the year, when you listen to my preview show, I said, I don't know how well this guy can make decisions, if he can make the big decisions, and I think he has an accountability issue. Well, we all know that he has an accountability issue. I don't think that's any secret, but when it comes to decision-making, I'm trying to think of the best way to say this that is politically correct, and nothing good comes out of the way I'm going to say this, because basically what I'm trying to say is Matt Rhule does not have no gonads when it comes to making a decision. The man cannot make a decision. He is afraid of conflict, and he is afraid of making decisions. For example, he didn't have a choice in firing Joe Brady. It was fire Joe Brady or you're getting fired. Okay, we know about him making decisions, people not listening to him, and then blaming, well, I told my defensive coordinator, I told my offensive coordinator to listen to this or to listen to that, and they're not. Well, Matt Rhule, whose job is it to hold them accountable? Obviously yours. Okay, when it came to Deontay Brown and Brady Christensen needing more time, getting more time to find out if they are linemen of the future for this Carolina Panther, the guy doesn't have enough gonads to make a decision and put the young guys in and sit the veterans because he is afraid. He cannot make a decision. We talked about this last night. What better way to find out what these guys got playing them the last 3 games? 2 of them versus one of the best defensive line, if not the best defensive line in all of football, and that's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and see how they hold up. If they're average or above versus the Buccaneers, could you imagine what they'll do against the other teams? We talked about this in detail yesterday evening. Unfortunately, once again, you know, no decision has been made, okay? Then you got this topic that hit me today, folks, and I'm going to drill on this topic, and it bothers me, and it bothers me a lot because he says Sam Darnold is ready. First of all, if Sam Darnold is ready, if Sam Darnold is taking reps, I don't give a crap what any fan in Carolina says. The end of the day, Sam Darnold is your starting quarterback, and he should be starting this football game if he is healthy enough to go. Not Cam Newton. It's not the popular choice, but at the end of the day, you don't get paid to make the popular choice. You get paid to make the correct choice, okay? So basically what he's doing, Carolina Panther fans, is he's starting Cam Newton so he can go out and not have to take the accountability of Cam failing. This way, Cam goes in, he doesn't do well, he puts Sam Darnold in, and the rest is history. Goodbye, Cam Newton. Thank you for the short amount of time you spent in Carolina, which is a coward's way of doing things. He should be man enough to go ahead, go out there, and Matt Rhule should make that decision and say, Sam Darnold is starting. Shouldn't put Cam Newton in, hoping that Cam Newton fails and he can put Sam in, and then the era of Cam Newton is completely over, and once again, he is no longer in Carolina. No gonads Rhule. That's his nickname. No gonads Rhule. Doesn't have any gonads to make that decision. And I'm going to tell you what, folks, you agree with me or not agree with me, I really don't care. At the end of the day, I'm giving you my honest opinion that Sam Darnold is your starting quarterback. should be your starting quarterback because nobody has done anything on this team to win that position from Sam Darnold. Now, Sam Darnold, we went through a complete exercise yesterday, complete example, a complete performance evaluation of Sam Darnold and what happened when he was throwing 300 yards a game the first 4 games and what happened when he wasn't the next few games. And we broke it down and we all found out that it was the way the play calling was being called, that they every time they got behind, they took away the run and they passed the ball. And by passing the ball all the time, defenses can key up on your quarterback, put extra pressure because they know you have no confidence without McCaffrey running the football. So we talked about that. The second thing is David Tepper. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. Tell you why. I like the guy. I think he's funny. He's hard-nosed at times, But, okay, you need to come out right now, either today or tomorrow, whichever you like, and make a decision. Now, the decision needs to be this. If Coach Rhule is going to be the coach next year, and you're 100% sure that you are not getting rid of Matt Rhule, then you need to make that public ASAP. Now, if there is a chance that you might, I understand. But by not saying it, you're dragging people on to believe that there is possibly going to be a change at the head coaching position. You know what? Make a decision. Whether you make the decision or not, one way or another, there's going to be people that love you. There's going to be people that hate you. But at the end of the day, you don't only owe it to Matt Rhule, which is probably the most important thing. Be a man about it. But you owe it to the fans, okay? Let everybody know. If you are planning on it, if you go to bed tonight saying there is no doubt in my mind that Matt Rhule will be back for a third year, then you need to make that public so everybody knows that and we can get past this subject of Matt Rhule being the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. It's dummy proof, but we talked yesterday. Common sense is not always so common. But David Tepper owes it to this franchise, owes it to Matt Rhule, and owes it to the fans to let them know if he knows he's going to take them back, he needs to go ahead and make that public now before later so we can figure out what the next step is in this process of rebuilding this team and getting back to a competitive football team. Okay, now, I'll tell you right now, we're going into a game this week where poor Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and not that anybody in Carolina really feels that bad about it, but at the end of the day, this is a team that is battered and bruised. I mean, Chris Godwin out for the year, leading receiver, 98 receptions, 1,100 yards, 5 touchdowns. Mike Evans possibly out. Leonard Fournette definitely out. Levante David out. Antoine Winfield out. I mean, gosh almighty, one of the highly powered and favored teams in the NFL gets the injury bug at the worst time of the year, the last quarter of the year, which could affect them in the playoffs, as if the Bucs win one more game, they clinch the NFC South. But now they signed Le'Veon Bell. Now they when you look, hindsight is 20/20, but when you look back, and everybody in Tampa Bay was saying, why don't we just get rid of Antonio Brown? Well, give Bruce Arians credit, baby, for not doing what the fans wanted him to do. Did you hear that, Matt Rhule? Bruce Arians did not do what the fans wanted to do. He did what he thought was best for his football team. He kept Antonio Brown, and darn it, he's looking like a freaking genius right now because they need Antonio Brown now more than ever to step in and be that number one receiver. We'll probably see Tyler Johnson. We'll probably see a lot of Cameron Brate and maybe even Scotty Miller this weekend to go, of course, with Rob Gronkowski. Tom Brady lost a tough game. lost a tough game, didn't like it, got frustrated, threw things over the place. But the guy is still a genius. 4,300 yards this year, 36 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. I mean, what can you say about Tom Brady? Those people that keep continually doubting him year after year after year. Now, this is a strong Bucs team, guys. They're averaging 29.3 points a game, while the Panthers are only averaging right now about 19.4 points a game. So a lot of things right now, not in favor for Carolina. Meanwhile, the Bucs are allowing 21.9 points a game. Panthers only allowing 22.4. The one thing you can say is defensively, the Carolina Panthers are a good defensive team, and a lot will be shown this weekend. The Bucs are second in the NFL in third down conversions at 46.4%. So obviously we know we have to get them off the field this weekend on third down. So it's going to be a long day. While the Panthers are at 35.4% only. So a huge difference there. The Bucs are also second in interceptions in the league with 15. Meanwhile, the Bucs lost to, I said, New Orleans. They won 4 previous games. Panthers have lost 4 in a row. The Panthers have a new kicker now, so we got to hope that we can score a lot of 7s this game. A lot of points, a lot of touchdowns. You can't be attempting new field goals with a brand new kicker. New kicker, Larim Hajrulahu. I think I said that right. Hajrulahu. That's right. That's how you pronounce it. He's off the Washington practice squad, but in the Canadian Football League, did pretty well. Made 47 of 55 field goals in his career in the Canadian Football League. So, after the interview with Coach Bell, we're going to go ahead. We're going to do the keys to the game and what we feel need to do. Some of it's similar, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, it's similar to what we talked in the past, but, never say never. And we seen last week the Lions winning. I mean, versus Arizona. We beat Arizona. I mean, does that mean Arizona's not that good? No. On those days, we played a better game. Okay, and we need to play a better game this Sunday versus a beat-up Tampa Bay Buccaneer team. Now, we are about 2 minutes away from having Coach Marvin Bell joining us. Let's go ahead and take a break, and we'll be back right after these messages. Boy, am I glad that you clicked on this promo tonight. Boy, are you looking for a great show? And yes, you see a Carolina Panther banner behind us, but we do a lot more than just cater to the North Carolina teams, as we are broadcasting live from Charlotte, North Carolina. But boy, do we have listeners all over the United States and over the world listening to this show. We do some of the greatest interviews in the world of sports when it pertains to doing a show on whether it's TV, the internet, you name it. Listen to some of these stars we've had on this show. Tommy John, former pitcher, Ed Kranepool, former New York Met, Brett Boone, former Seattle Mariner great, just to name a few baseball players. Then we've had Roy Firestone, Pat O'Brien, Jackie Sherrill. Let's not forget Jerry Cooney, the ex-heavyweight contender. Let's not forget Craig Kite from the NBA and the Boston Celtics. Butch Carter from Toronto Raptors, or even other players that affect professional sports, such as Bob Hendrick, president of the Negro Baseball Museum in Kansas City, or the great John Rawitch, who is the president of the Baseball Hall of Fame. We've had many people. Jeff Garcia, Fred Clare, who's orchestrated one of the best Los Angeles Dodgers teams. It goes on and on and on and on, but I could be here all night telling you about that. Ladies and gentlemen, we go on Monday through Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want a great show that interacts with its guests, allows you to leave comments, allows you to call in, and where we agree to disagree on an unbelievable sports forum, then this is the show for you. Frankly Speaking Sports. Look forward to seeing you in the future. You are listening to Frankly Speaking Panthers on TobaccoRoadSportsRadio.com. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking Panthers. I'm your host, Larry Frank. We are minutes away from having Coach Marvin Bell joining us from for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Excuse me. He should be on in a couple of minutes. He does a host of the show, Bucs Talk with Coach Bell. He should be joining us momentarily so that we can go ahead and preview the upcoming game between the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we're looking forward to that. I mean, you know, when you look at this game, folks, you got to ask yourself, is there a realistic chance that the Panthers have a chance to win this game? Realistically, they do, okay? But it's going to take a mistake-free football game. And they're going to have to go ahead and stop that running game. Right now, Leonard Fournette, the big man who has over 800 yards rushing, is out. They're going to rely on Ronald Jones and a little Le'Veon Bell. But Fournette has also been so effective out of the backfield, catching 69 receptions for an additional 454 yards and 2 receiving touchdowns. So he does more than just run the football for this team, and he's come a long, long way. You know, this is a guy that was Bruce Arians was ready to release last year, and then all of a sudden he just turned it up, lights out, baby, and just went off into the playoffs, played well this year, and once again, Bruce Arians making those tough decisions, went ahead and looks like a genius once again. How much pressure will we put on Tom Brady? How much pressure will be allowed to put on Tom Brady? Obviously, if the running game is deteriorated and they're not going to be running the ball, it'll give us an opportunity to do what a lot of teams do on us when we stop running the ball. It'll give us time to put a lot of pressure on Tom Brady and hopefully force Brady into making some unnecessary, unorthodox mistakes that he is usually not making. So we'll have to wait and see there. And I'm going to try this one more time. All righty. See if Coach Bell got that. All right, so hopefully he is bringing up his computer right now, and he is coming on with us. He just got the message, so I'm hoping that we should have him any moment here, folks. So I do apologize about that. But meanwhile, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers need one win to win the NFC South. They didn't last week, like I mentioned, versus New Orleans. They lost 9-0 to New Orleans. A win Sunday, gives them the NFL South crown, something they have not done since 2007. That's right, something they have not done since 2007. So what, 14, 15 years since the Bucs have won that division? It just amazes me that it's been that long, as well as that team's been playing. You think they've been playing well forever, but a lot of people don't realize it was just 3 years ago Winston was quarterbacking this team, not only throwing 30 touchdown passes, also for over 4,000 yards, but he was also throwing over 30 interceptions. So it's amazing how far this team has come. But you realize something Sunday night, which a lot of people seem to forget. Tom Brady is good because he's always had a good supporting cast around him. Reason why Tom Brady has been so effective in Tampa Bay, no discredit towards Tom, he'll tell you the same thing, is he's had the best receiving core ever, that possibly in Buccaneer history that has ever been assembled, with Gronk and Evans and Godwin. It's just amazing. Antonio Brown. And you saw what happened last week when some of those players went down on offense. Lenny goes down. Godwin goes down. Evans goes down. And what happens? What should happen? On any team, this will happen. Tom Brady's only so human. He cannot do it all. And when he had to try to do it all, of course, the other guys that are coming in do a great job, but they're not the same caliber players as your first team. And you saw him struggle. Maybe he's not used to the guys in practice because they don't get as many reps or whatever. I'm not going to sit here and make excuses with Tom Brady, but you did see him get frustrated. Over and over and over again, he was getting frustrated. And that's something that, he's going to have to control. He's 44 years old. I'm not trying to tell him how to act or how to behave. But at the end of the day, you can see that frustration. And obviously, just like him firing up everyone, you can see how much he can bring sometimes people down when he goes ahead and he does things like that. Let's go ahead and take another break real quick, and hopefully when we come back, we'll have Coach Bell on with us. We'll be back right after this message.
This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, the other day I'm looking around and I'm saying, I need to become part of a Carolina Panthers group that stays positive even in these tough times. And I'll tell you what, boy, have I found a group, the Carolina Panthers Den. It's on Facebook and you need to join today. This is a group that stays positive, has a good time, and it interacts with a lot of other different Carolina Panthers fans. If you want to have a great time and talk about your team, encourage your team in a way that is done very professionally, then become a member of the Carolina Panthers Den on Facebook. Make sure to join today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Frankly Speaking Panthers. I'm your host, Larry Frank, and it is my great honor, thrill, and pleasure to have joining us in the Frankly Speaking Sports Studio. He's a legend in Tampa Bay. He's a legend on Crue Life. He has his own show, Bucs Talk with Coach Bell. Let's introduce my good buddy, who I probably now haven't seen in about a little over a year, Coach Bell.
Man, what's up? What's up, Larry? How you doing, my man? It's good to see you, my man.
Good to see you too, buddy. Hopefully everything's going well for you.
Everything's good, man. Just had a little head scratcher Sunday night, brother. So I'm looking forward to hopefully we can redeem ourselves against the Panthers this upcoming Sunday. Because last Sunday was rough. It was brutal.
Coach, talk about that. The health of this team now went from being unbelievable, well, almost unbelievable, to completely devastating right now. You lost Evans last game. You lost Godwin for the year. Fournette's out for the year. We're not sure about Levante David. Antoine Winfield's out. I mean, you know, you and I always talked in the past about entering the playoffs as the team that's playing the best football, but we can't forget about that. Usually the team that's playing the best football is the team that is the healthiest as well. So how does it look now, and how does it change up for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who just need one win to seal the NFC South?
Well, the guys that's on the team, man, you know, they get paid too. They get checks, you know, the Scotty Millers, the Tyler Johnsons, the Bashard Perrimans, you know, all those guys, man, who've been practicing all year. They've been through all the OTAs, training camp, preseason. So there's no reason why those guys should not be able to step in and do the job. We know they can't fully replace a Chris Godwin, or even a Mike Evans, or definitely a Levante David, or you know, a Leonard Fournette. But Ronald Jones, people have been, you know, man, Rojo just needs an opportunity. Well, you know what? For all you guys that really love Rojo, this is his opportunity to show what he can do. So hopefully he'll take the ball literally and run with it.
Yeah, and Coach, you know, you talk about Ronald Jones. If you look at him last game from a yardage per carry, yes, he had a 30-yard run, but he rushed okay. But now they went out, and for a little depth, they get Le'Veon Bell. How do you see Bell, who has not played well probably since he's left Pittsburgh, how do you see him fitting in here?
Well, first of all, man, you know, Le'Veon Bell has played a lot of football, and I was listening to the sports show the other day, and the guy's just 29 years old. I didn't realize he was that young.
Yep.
So he's got a lot of experience. So what's going to happen is Le'Veon Bell's going to come in and provide a little leadership in the running back room. I don't think they trust Keyshawn Vaughn. So Le'Veon Bell is going to come in, and he's very good in pass protection. And so you got to have somebody in the backfield that you can trust on passing plays to do their job. So Le'Veon Bell is going to come in, and he's going to be good in the pass protection. And he also is really good at catching the ball out the backfield. I don't think he's going to do anything dazzling to us as far as running the ball, but in the passing game and also in pass protection, I think that's and his leadership in the running back room. I think that's what he's going to add to this team and excel.
Yeah, you know, they always say, and you've heard the saying, hindsight is 20/20. All those fans in Tampa Bay that was just a couple of weeks ago saying, get rid of Antonio Brown. Get rid of Antonio Brown. I guarantee they're going to church and thanking the Lord for Bruce Arians this Sunday for keeping Antonio Brown, because they look at it now, it could be one of the most important decisions of the year.
Yeah, I mean, listen, AB was brought in initially because of that reason as an insurance policy. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, I think the year before, both of those guys went down with hamstrings and missed a significant amount of time. And that's where Bashard Perriman got a chance to show what he can do. That was Jamison's last year here. And Bashard Perriman showed up and showed out. But you just don't want to get caught with this team. This window is closing, man. We have a 44-year-old quarterback. So the window is starting to close on us. And we're not going to get everybody back next year. So we had last year, we won the Super Bowl. And this year is another opportunity to go back to the bowl. But you got to have those veterans, and you got to be ready to go. So I think that was a smart move. It wasn't a knee-jerk reaction and cutting Antonio Brown. And now we see why.
And, you know, you talk about Tom Brady, that window, whether anybody wants to admit it or not, because it's hard to believe his window is ever going to close, because he's still having a great year, over 4,000 yards, 36 touchdowns, only 11 interceptions. But, Coach, I have to ask you, as someone that's been a fan for such a long time of the Bucs, not only how frustrating was it to see them to go down 9-0, put in a goose egg with Tom Brady at the helm Sunday, but also as a fan, and I know some fans love it, but it had to be a little frustrating to see Tom getting that frustrated on the sidelines.
Yeah, listen, man. This guy is one of those. Tom Brady he hates losing more than he likes winning. He despises losing. And the thing about it, when you're a sore loser, you don't always handle it well. And this is a team that, I mean, let's face it, they have his number, especially since he came to the Bucs. He hasn't beaten the Saints in the regular season. He has not beaten them. And not only has he not beaten the Saints, he's looked awful versus the Saints, turning the ball over, getting sacked. I mean, just pick six. I mean, he's looked bad. And I think the Saints was doing a little chirping in his ear. So I think that had a lot to do with the frustration that they was chirping in his ear. He has not been able to beat them. And I think his emotions got the best of him once he got to the sideline. And that tablet had to pay the price for it.
Coach, you and I've seen this team before utilize the tight ends a lot.
Yeah.
Could this be a game because of them not having as much firepower? Even though I love Tyler Johnson, I think he's got a great future ahead of him. He's still not Godwin, and he's still not Michael Evans if Michael doesn't play.
Right.
Do you see them utilizing maybe Cameron Brate and O.J. Howard along with Gronkowski a little bit more this game?
Yeah, you could have left O.J. out of that, man. I think O.J.'s done, man. Yeah, I think this is a game where they rely heavily on the tight end game. I think the Bucs feel like they can beat the Panthers as long as they don't turn the ball over and they play it close to the vest. The Bucs probably feel pretty confident that they can beat the Panthers with just throwing the ball to Antonio Brown, and they pretty much limit it to Antonio Brown, Gronk, and Cameron Brate. O.J. Howard is on the milk carton, brother. I've been talking about guys on the milk carton. I was at Publix in Sefner, and I saw O.J. Howard. He's on the milk carton, brother. He's he's missing. He's on the milk carton. And you guys who are old enough like me, when kids were missing back in the day, they would put
That's right. I remember.
Milk carton. Well, O.J. Howard is on the milk carton. He's on the milk carton. JPP is on the milk carton. So we got a couple of guys that's on the milk carton right now. But yeah, I think the Bucs can do enough to beat the Panthers as long as they don't turn the ball over and the defense shows up. Because listen, Cam Newton, the new Cam Newton, this version of Cam Newton does not scare me. Okay, that Superman cape that he's had in the past, I don't think he has that cape. I think that cape is in the closet somewhere with dust on it. So hopefully he'll continue to play poorly as he's played the last few weeks, and we can go to Carolina and get the dub, man, and keep pushing toward the playoffs. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Coach, the end of the year, and I know we got a lot of more football before the end of the year, but Alex Kappa, Ryan Jensen are free agents. Big, huge, probably massive part of that offensive line that protects Brady. Do you see them both re-signing with the Bucs?
I think Jensen will probably resign. I'm hoping they can bring both of them back. I mean, Kappa's a young guy. I don't think he's going to demand a lot. And if Jensen doesn't demand too much, I think both of them will come back. But I think I can't think of his name right now. The guy that filled in for Kappa last year when he got hurt.
Stinney?
Stinney. Stinney. So with him being on the roster, I think the Bucs feel okay. If for some reason they're unable to sign Kappa, I think they feel pretty good with Stinney pulling in the right guard in the place of Kappa. But again, Kappa's a young guy, man, and I think his future is bright. So hopefully they can bring both of those guys back. But hopefully Jason Light can work his magic again. Hopefully.
So, Coach, what scares you the most, if anything, about the Carolina Panthers this weekend?
They have a pretty good receiving core, man. Cam is not the Cam of old, but he still can run somewhat. And the Bucs seem to have a real problem with any quarterback that can run. There's a dual threat. And I think Cam still can run a little bit. He's not the Cam of old. And then they have DJ Moore. They have Robbie Anderson. They have the rookie running back out of Oklahoma State, Chuba Hubbard, out the backfield. So they have some weapons on offense, man. And so I'm more concerned with the Carolina's offense, with Cam running the ball. And I'm not sure if McCaffrey is playing or not. But
no,
McCaffrey's still out?
Yep, he's done for the year.
Okay, he's out for the year. Okay, so Chuba Hubbard, the rookie running back at Oklahoma State, concerns me, along with the receiving core they have. Defensively, they can rush the passer a little bit, and then of course they have probably one of the top 3 cornerbacks in the league, man. The cornerback they got from the Patriots, was it Gilmore?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. So he'll be matched up against whoever our number 1 is, whether it's Evans if he plays, or whether it's AB. Gilmore will be matched up on him. So I'm more concerned with the Carolina's offense, because we got to show up, man, and put points on the board. Again, we cannot go there and play down to the level of our competition.
Right.
And this is the same New Orleans team. I'm sorry, Carolina Panthers team that beat the Saints. Right.
They beat the Saints and they beat the Cardinals.
Right. So you know what I'm saying. So we can't, as the young kids say, we can't sleep. We can't sleep on the Panthers, man. We cannot sleep on the Panthers. So hopefully they'll go there, man, and bring their A game and take care of business.
Coach, let me ask you this. If you're coaching on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which quarterback, they said Sam Darnold is going to play as well. I believe if Sam Darnold, and this is just my opinion, if Sam Darnold is healthy, he has done nobody has done anything to take the number 1 quarterback position away from him. It's one thing if Cam came in, played well, lights out, then you could say this guy played his way into the starting position, but he hasn't.
Right.
Both of them have the ability, maybe Darnold not as well as Cam, but a lot of people don't remember, first 5 games of the season, he was leading the league in rushing touchdowns. Which quarterback scares, forget about the old Cam, I'm talking right now, which quarterback scares you more should they play more?
I mean, I'm probably going to shock some people. I would say Sam Darnold, man. I'd be more concerned if he played. The Cam that I've been watching, I'm not afraid of him, man. I mean, he's not throwing the ball that well. He doesn't have the rut, the speed, the elusiveness he's had. So as a Buck fan, I'd rather see Cam in there. I think Darnold will go in there with a chip on his shoulder, with something to prove. Like, I should have never been pulled out the starting lineup, and here's why. I'm going to show you. Because like you said, the Panthers started out hot, man. I think they lost to the Cowboys. I think that's when the downward spiral started, when they lost to the Cowboys. But prior to that, man, Carolina was tearing up the league. They started out hot. And Sam Darnold was like, okay, I see the Panthers. Okay, that was a good job bringing him in from the Jets. So I would rather see Cam Newton in the lineup than Sam Darnold.
Well, Coach, it goes to show you how important a running game is. McCaffrey gets hurt right before that Dallas game, okay? They stop running the football. Basically, they don't use Chuba Hubbard like they should. Actually, during Dallas game, Chuba had a decent game. And Darnold rushed for some yards in a very tough loss that they could have won that game. But my point I'm making is it just goes to show you that if you don't have a guy to run the football that people are scared of, or if you go away from the run, you become one-dimensional, and then these defenses will key up on the pass and just throw all these stunts at you and pressure on you because they know you have no confidence in running the football, so they have nothing to lose.
Yeah, as they say, they can just pin their ears back and just come after you, man. You know, once the team makes you one-dimensional, it's hard to beat a defense once they really have no threat. There's no threat of a running game, none. And they just know you're throwing the ball. I mean, it just makes it very, very difficult for our offense to be successful. When, you know, I mean, it's got to be really hard on the offensive lineman. You know, offensive lineman, yes, any offensive lineman, would you rather pass block or run block? They will tell you. I listen to Ian Beckles all the time say, let's run the ball 40 times a game. I would love it. And I just think offensive linemen prefer to run block rather than pass block. And I just think that, I think that's
well, let's put it in perspective. If you've coached, would you rather be going forward or backwards?
I know exactly. Right?
So
exactly. I don't want to start the playoff by retrieving. Soon the ball snap, I'm already backing up, retrieving. No. Right. The ball snap, I want to go forward, and I want what we call it, create a new line of scrimmage. We always tell offensive linemen, you guys need to create a new line of scrimmage about 2 yards from the original line, 2 to 3 yards from the original line of scrimmage. We're going to run the ball, but everybody up front, your job is to create a new line of scrimmage, and that's how we're going to be successful running the ball tonight. We always told our players that.
Coach, have Buck fans seen the last of Byron Leftwich at the end of the year?
Where's he going?
Jacksonville, maybe?
Nah, I don't think. I think Jacksonville. Listen, Jacksonville. They just got rid of Urban Meyer. They're going to bring. I think Jacksonville is going to bring in someone who's been there, done that at the NFL level. I think Byron Leftwich is good. I don't know if Jacksonville and the ownership and the management team in Jacksonville is going to trust turning this Jacksonville Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence, that overall #1 pick last year. I don't know if they're ready to turn him over to Byron Leftwich. I don't know if they trust Byron Leftwich as a head coach to do that. I don't know. I think they're going to go in a different direction. They may go in a different direction as far as a head coach who's out there, who's been a head coach, and they felt like he needs another opportunity. I think they may go that route. I don't think they're going to the college ranks again. I think they see that was miserable bringing a college coach in, trying to coach grown men. That did not work at all with Urban Meyer. So I think the Jaguars may go. I mean, would I like to see Byron Leftwich go to the Jaguars? I mean, selfishly as a Bucs fan, I don't want to see him leave. But for Byron Leftwich's sake, I think he deserves the opportunity. Right. And I think that minimum he'll get an interview. Now, whether he gets the job or not, I don't know. But I think he definitely will get an interview with the Jaguars.
Coach, we talked about the injuries that has played these teams after last week. In your opinion, does this team, now remember, it's Super Bowl champs, do they have enough depth to get back there, or do you think that's it's going to be a heck of a lot more difficult?
If Mike Evans is able to come back from the hamstring, all we've lost on offense, we would have lost on offense. I mean, that's a lot. I don't make it sound like it's minimal. It's Chris Godwin and playoff Lenny. Ronald Jones was the starting running back on this team before we acquired Leonard Fournette. Right. So Ronald Jones, not like he doesn't have starting experience in the NFL. So hopefully Ronald Jones sees the moment and the opportunity to show what hey, I should have been playing all along. So if Ronald Jones comes to play, and we got AB in the lineup, instead of Chris Godwin, everybody else on offense is still good. I think they can, but we have experience. One thing people don't really take into consideration is playoff experience. You can have some teams in the playoff for the first time, and they get those jitters because they know if they lose, or if I make a mistake, if I miss this kick, if I have a poor punt, then we're going home. Well, one thing about the Bucs, everybody on that team has experience. They played in the Super Bowl last year. They played in the playoff last year. They had to go and win 3 road games to get to the Super Bowl. So, yeah, I think we have enough, man. I think with experience with Tom Brady and the coaching staff, we've been there, done that. Yeah, I would not count the Bucs out at all.
But, Coach, I love Ronald Jones, too. I was a big Ronald Jones fan when I was down there. But you got to admit, when you take playoff Lenny out, now, yes, you can say you got the running game back, but one thing that Lenny was doing unbelievable this year was catching the ball out of the backfield. He had 69 receptions, over 400 yards. I mean, do you think Ronald Jones, because I remember when I was there, Ronald had a little trouble catching the football out of the backfield.
That is why they signed my man Le'Veon Bell. No relation, but that's why they signed him. Le'Veon Bell is not the runner that he was in Pittsburgh, but I still believe he can bring a lot as a pass receiver out of the backfield and as a pass protector in the backfield. So I think where Ronald Jones lacks, where he's not really doesn't excel, I think that's where Le'Veon Bell does excel, and that's why I think that was a smart decision to bring in a veteran running back like a Le'Veon Bell. And again, he's only 29 years old. He's only 29, so we're not talking about a 35-year-old running back. 34, he's 29. Okay, yep. And he hasn't been used that much this year, so his legs still should be fresh, and I think he will seize the opportunity the same way Fournette did when he came over from Jacksonville. I think Le'Veon Bell will do the same here with the Buccaneers, and I think he'll be a good running back catching the ball at the backfield, like I said, in pass pro, and that'll take some of that pressure off Ronald Jones.
Is it safe to say that even though Le'Veon just got here, that they have a certain number of plays already for him to memorize for Sunday's game?
Yeah, they'll spoon feed him. They're not gonna throw the whole playbook, even though he's a veteran. Right. This is we gotta realize now. I'm not sure. I think Bruce Arians was the offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh when Le'Veon Bell was had his heydays in Pittsburgh, if I'm not mistaken. I think Arians was the offensive coordinator. I know he had AB in Pittsburgh when Arians was there, but I'll have to check and see. But other words, what I'm saying is I think there's some familiarity. I think he's familiar with this offense. So I don't think he's going to an offense that he's never seen before, or he's going to an offense where he's going to be totally lost and just starting like I don't think it's going to be French or Spanish to him. I think it's just a matter of time before he picks it up. And I think, again, they'll spoon feed him. I don't think they're going to give him a lot. Or they'll say, like, Le'Veon on this, you got the swing out the backfield. Le'Veon on this, you gotta check the A gap first, pass pro. So I think they'll talk to him in the huddle to make sure he understands what he needs to do. And as he plays more, I think he'll become more adept, and I think he'll show his true skill set. So I'm not worried about Le'Veon Bell. He's a professional, and I think he'll be ready to go.
We're talking to Coach Marvin Bell, host of Bucs Talk with Coach Bell.
Yes,
Coach,
sir.
Couple questions. We'll let you run here, buddy. What are the keys this Sunday for the Bucs to bounce back and beat the Panthers?
Well, first of all, I think the Bucs have to get up to a fast start. I think what happened if they come out in the first quarter and we go 3 and out a couple of times. Listen, we just for our confidence, we have to come out fast. We have to score points. I'm not talking about 3. We got to score touchdowns. And when we have to kick field goals, we need Ryan Suckup to go in and make those field goals so he can get his confidence back and the team get their confidence back in him because he's missed 3 extra points this season. And so I think the Bucs got to start fast. That's number 1. Number 2, I think the Bucs have to force some turnovers. The Bucs seem to do well when they have turnovers. The Bucs don't play that well when they have to drive 14, 15 plays to score. I think they have a short field. Like the Andrew Adams near interception, we cannot almost intercept it. They have to get some turnovers, and we got to start out fast. And we can't get crazy penalties at the wrong times that wipe out touchdowns or first downs. So I think the turnover battle, the penalty battle, and we got to get off to a fast start, man, for our confidence.
And not that this helps the Buc fans out there, but Carolina, I think, is the only team in the NFL this year that has not allowed a touchdown on the first possession.
Yep, so, I heard that.
So that, something nice in a very disappointing season. Also, you talked about how teams gear on the run. I would assume that the Panthers are going to key on Tom Brady this weekend, hoping to contain Ronald Jones. And watch some of that game film, 4 sacks last week, something you don't see a Tampa Bay Buccaneer team let up 4 sacks. So I know they'll be pressuring you. What is your prediction in closing on this game?
I think the Bucs win. Maybe by 7. I think maybe by 7 points, 7 to 10 points. I think it's something like 27 to 17, something like that. 27-17. 24-14, but I think the Bucs win by 7 to 10 points. I think the Bucs were thoroughly embarrassed on national TV last Sunday night, and I think they're going to come out and play well. Some teams you just don't match up well against, and we seem to match up a lot better against the Saints and the Falcons. The Saints the Panthers may try to come out and employ that same defensive skill set and strategies that the Saints did, but they don't have the same players. So they can watch all the film and see what the Saints did and try to duplicate it. But you gotta have the horses. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have the athletes to execute that game plan. And I don't think the Panthers have the same athletes to execute what the Saints did against us. So I see anywhere from 7 to 10 point Buccaneer win. 27-17, 24-14, something like that.
And this is a Panther team that they'll see again in 2 weeks. Hopefully for the Bucs, it doesn't have a lot of meaning to it.
Right.
We can rest some of their players. Right. But in the event that you never know what happens in the National Football League, they do play the Panthers at home the last game of the season.
Yeah, hopefully, like you said, man, we have successfully captured the number 2 seed. I don't think we're going to catch Green Bay for the number 1 seed. I think we can. I don't think we're going to do that. So The best we can hope for is the number 2 seed in the NFC. And so by then, hopefully, we would have already done that. We've already be the NFC South division champs. So I'm hoping that last game against the Carolina Panthers here in Tampa, it'll be an opportunity for some of our guys to get some rest as we prepare for the playoff and get some of our injured players back. You know, I know Mike Evans is what 80 yards short of 1,000, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So I was listening to sports radio. So I know Bruce Arians, and if Mike Evans, can get out there, I thought he's gonna get Mike Evans out there to get his 80 yards. And then I think after that, I think he may rest him a little bit unless Mike is a full go. But I know if Mike Evans can go, it's important for Bruce to allow Mike Evans to continue that those 1,000-yard seasons. I think it'd be 8 years in a row if he does it.
All right, my friend. Well, as always, it's always a pleasure catching up with you. I want to thank you so much for coming on tonight and taking time out of your busy schedule. And happy holidays to you and your family.
Larry, thank you, my man. Anytime, brother, just call me, man, and I'm on. No problem.
All right, buddy. Happy New Year, buddy.
All right, as always, baby. Buck Nation, stand up.
That was Coach Marvin Bell, host of Bucs Talk with Coach Bell. Let's take a quick station break, and when we come back, we're going to do keys of the game and then wrap it up. We'll be back right after this.
This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Frankly Speaking Sports. I'm your host, Larry Frank, and we're going to go right to the keys to the game for this Sunday. What do we need to do to win this game? Okay, we hit on some of it. We're going to hit on more of it. The first thing is you can't let the Bucs run game get started. They're hurting. They're without Leonard Fournette. They're hoping Ronald Jones, who has been inconsistent in his career with the Bucs, can get going. And if we're able to stop them where they feel like they can't run the ball, that will give our defense an opportunity to throw blitz packages at Tom Brady, put pressure on him. And we all saw last week what happens when pressure is on Tom Brady. Threw an interception, he was sacked 4 times. So the key, be able to pressure Tom Brady all day. Get him frustrated. The more tablets he breaks, the better off the Panthers are come Sunday. 3rd down conversion. Okay, guys, this is dummy proof. We need our defense on 3rd down needs to stop our opposition. If you get teams in 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8, you cannot let them execute on 3rd down. You cannot let them throw those passes out of the backfield or utilize those tight ends. Your defense has to get off the field. And on the other side, you have to execute 3rd downs. And that's why I think you're going to see a lot more of Sam Darnold sooner than people expect this upcoming Sunday. You have to, as the Panthers, we talked about this in depth yesterday, have to have a balanced offense, okay? If you're going to be afraid of running with the ball throughout this game, or if you fall a little behind, they are going to destroy you because they know all you're going to do is pass, and it's going to be a long day for whoever is behind center. It doesn't matter whether it's Cam Newton or Sam Darnold. You can throw P.J. Walker in there. It don't matter. Because at the end of the day, if the defense knows, like Coach Bell just told us, that you're constantly going to pass the ball, they're not going to even worry about you running the ball because you're afraid to run the ball. So you're allowing our defense to put more pressure on your quarterback. Now, we have a new kicker. Everybody knows that. Okay? The hardest thing about this kicker is to pronounce his last name. So, that's the big thing right there. His name is Lirim Hajrulahu. That's right, Hajrulahu. You cannot put pressure on him to win this game. When you're in that red zone, you have to execute and score touchdowns. You have to score touchdowns. If you make it a 3-point game, you will lose versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Every single chance you get in that red zone, you have to execute and put 7 points on the board if you plan on winning this game. Folks, I hate to tell you this. If any of you are surprised by this, this could be Cam Newton's last game in Carolina as far as starting or playing. Okay? The minute Cam suffers, this is, why they don't just start Sam is besides me. But at the end of the day, I don't like what they're doing to Cam here. They're putting him in to fail so that they can bring Sam back in. I don't like it. If I'm Cam, I don't like it. But at the end of the day, you've got a better chance of winning with Sam Darnold in this game than you do Cam Newton. That's not a popular opinion because the love affair that this city has with Cam Newton. But at the end of the day, from a football perspective, you have a better chance of winning with Sam Darnold in the game. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you all that this will be our last show until January 3rd. Next week, we're taking off. We're getting ready for the big January 3rd show, the first show of the year. Not only are we going to be on all the platforms that we are currently on, where we are distributed to 750,000 people, but as of January 3rd, we are proud to announce we will be on Roku TV. And all of you folks that are familiar with Roku TV, we will be on the Northeast Streaming Sports Roku channel. And Roku currently has 56.4 million monthly active users. So you can only imagine what that does as we continue to grow. It seems like bigger and bigger and bigger. On behalf of all of us here at Frankly Speaking Sports, from our family to your family, we want to wish you a happy holiday, and we'll see you next year right back here on Frankly Speaking Sports.